There was once a traveller who walked a long, winding path. On one side, the sun shone brightly, where those who never questioned themselves stood tall, so tall in fact, they never looked down. They couldn't see their own shadow, couldn't hear the whispers of their own mind, couldn't feel the weight of their own footsteps. They believed without doubt that the world should bow to them, and so it never occurred to them to bend. On the other side of the path, a storm raged, where those who questioned everything carried burdens not their own. They traced every footprint behind them, wondering if they could have stepped differently, spoken softer, been smaller, changed themselves just a little more. They saw reflections in every puddle, but never knew which one was real. And then there was the middle path. The traveller paused, and as they paused, they noticed something. The ones who walked too far to the right, they never saw the storm, and the ones who walked too far to the left, they never felt the sun. But the middle path, it allowed one to feel both the warmth and the coolness, to see light and shadow, to know when to stand firm and when to bend. Because balance, it isn't found in choosing one side or the other. It's found in the ability to move, to step forward with awareness, to recognize when to own your space and when to make space, to accept yourself fully, without needing to be infallible, to grow without erasing yourself. As the traveller walked, something incredible happened. The ones in the sun began to see their shadows. The ones in the storm began to see the sun. And the path forward became clear. Because it was never about choosing a side. It was about choosing to walk. As you listen now, or perhaps as something inside you listens even more deeply than before, you might begin to notice something interesting. Because isn't it fascinating how some people, they seem to walk through life as if the world were carved just for them, as if every step they take is unquestionable, every thought they have is truth, every action justified. And isn't it just as fascinating how others, they fold themselves so small, so careful, so cautious, as if their very existence were a ripple they must smooth over before anyone even notices. Yet somewhere beneath it all, between the certainty of arrogance and the uncertainty of self-doubt, there's another way. A way of knowing, a way of seeing, a way of stepping forward without losing yourself, without collapsing under the weight of others' expectations or your own. Because balance, real balance, it isn't something you achieve, it's something you become. And the moment you realise that, the moment something deep inside remembers that, everything begins to shift. Because confidence, it isn't the absence of self-doubt, it's the ability to move through it, to stand inside yourself so completely that external voices, they no longer dictate your worth, and yet to remain open enough to hear, to learn, to refine and to grow. And you may already know, perhaps more deeply than you realised until now, that growth, it doesn't mean losing yourself. Growth means becoming more of who you are. That's right. The ones who never question themselves, they're stuck. The ones who only question themselves, they're trapped. But you're learning something different. You're remembering something deeper. Because right now, in this moment, as these words sink in, as the patterns settle in ways the conscious mind doesn't even need to grasp yet, something inside is already shifting, already balancing, already walking that path. And as that happens, as that realization takes root, imagine now, just for a moment, what it feels like to be truly solid inside yourself, to know without needing permission, to listen without losing yourself, to reflect without collapsing, to stand without needing to prove. That's right, because this is who you've been becoming all along.